Well, hello. Been taking some time, actually been doing other business with my business that has kept me pretty occupied. And yeah, had to take a little break. Balance is really important, folks, particularly now. So, title of this video, what just happened and when did things get weird? I mean, listen, they've already been weird. But things have really gotten weird, such as your zodiac sign may have changed, but don't panic. Okay, now I'll just warn you ahead of time. They're handing out the Kool-Aid, and they have different flavors, so help yourself if you show desire. Folks, you think about this now. The zodiac, astrology, has been around for virtually as long as we can find records. Very well defined. Many cultures, from Christianity to Judaism, Islam, Buddhism. I mean, virtually every culture and every religion is predicated on the signs of the constellations and the zodiac. And you can go back for thousands of years. In fact, this article actually says that. But hey, there's another constellation. And so what was 12 is now 13. Oh, really? So, I mean, okay, when did this happen? And when do we become so gullible to accept this swill? And truly it is. Folks, listen. Something is either the days are getting longer, we may be in a different orbit or a different reality, maybe both. But seriously, folks, this is just one of the things that I have been thinking about. So here's one. Great website. And I bet you don't really think about this, do you? Dear friends, this is us. And folks, we are increasing and have been for some time. And you can actually look at the birth-death ratio and see that something is out of balance here. And while I have spoken on this short little subject, there's already been about 100 people that have died. And much more that have actually been born. And when you start to think about this on a grand scale and the impact it has both on the world, on society, economies, it's really a little staggering, is it not? Here's one for you. As the first person born right now, has that person already achieved immortality? Now you have to define immortality. What is immortality? Living forever. I guess it would be the simplest definition. But then again, the concept of forever differs. Really kind of depends on what your perception is. I mean, religious theologies, social morals, current popular thoughts, all play a sense into this. And it's something that I've been given a lot of thought about. When you think about what's happening as we watch the heavens, and I'm going to show a video here in a second, and the fact that we're looking at something and we feel safe here on planet Earth, the thought of death, something we're all going to face. And it's something that we all need to give, I think, more thought to. I've often been really thinking about, of late, how do I find the spirit? How do I find the soul? When did the two become joined? Is that even a sound philosophy or thought process? Is there even such a thing as the soul? There's many, actually, I found that the soul is a very recent concept. So, lots of things going on. AI, folks, AI. Has it become a reality? Don't know. I think it has. A little something you should think about here. Hold on one second. Have you thought about quantum computing? Yes, it's here. You can have one for about $10 million. But folks, read what their mission statement is. A quantum computer taps directly into the fundamental fabric of reality, the strange and counterintuitive world of quantum mechanics, to speed computation. Folks, if you think that the Matrix was just a movie, a fantasy, a screenplay, you better start thinking again. And stop and define what is the fabric of reality. Yeah, things are getting weird, folks. So I want to show you this video. This video has actually really disturbed me. As I said, I've really been doing searching on what is the spirit, what is the soul. This is the most compelling video I have ever seen, and I'll just let it play out so that you can actually see it for yourself. This is in Africa, by the way, South Africa, I believe. Yes, so what do we have here? Well, I used to have a client called the Smithsonian, and back in the day when Bob Decker was the curator there, I actually got access to the National Gallery, Museum of Natural Museum of Natural History, and also access to the National Gallery. And I got to go in about 5 o'clock in the morning. It was just me and the guards. So my point to all this, I saw many great works, and each work that I saw by the masters was subject to my interpretation, as it is yours. Ask yourself, who is it that's looking out those eyes? I'm speaking of your eyes. Who is it that you hear those thoughts? Are you both spirit and soul, as some religions teach? Very little foundation for that, by the way. What is the spirit? How is the body connected to the spirit? I believe what we're seeing here is the moment, and I'm going to play this in a very slow motion, that this is the moment this man died. And you can see what actually transpires here. And I'll start slowing this down to single frames so you can see what I've seen. I've looked at this 100 times. And I believe it's the first authentic footage I could have found and seen of the human spirit departing the body. So you can see, here they are, two men riding, going obviously very quickly. They hit the pickup truck. This man back here is the one that hits the windshield. He goes off here. The person driving the bike goes off this direction. Here's this man here. You can see here's his legs. He hits the telephone pole. He's dead. I think he actually died here. His body now comes down, hits the curb. You can see his arms. He's still flailing. The man obviously knows that there's been a terrible, terrible accident. He's immediately stopping to clear the road. The body here, as you can still see by the inertia of it hitting the pole, is still moving. I believe that this individual is dead. Now watch. Watch. Here it comes. Look where the spirit comes out of, folks. This is this man's spirit. And I believe what we're seeing here is a moment of where it is in total shock. His spirit is trying to understand what has happened. He can see, and look at this, folks. He's looking. He's confused. Folks, confusion is an emotion. So it tells me that the spirit has emotion. I don't care about your religious dogma, your religious theology. Keep it to yourself. This is my interpretation, and I'm entitled to that, as you are to yours. This spirit, this man is in shock. You can actually see him. He's feeling. There's his arms. He's feeling his body. And he's trying to grasp what is taking place here. Now, this is going down one frame about every 10 seconds. Here comes a policeman. Now watch the interaction between the policeman and the deceased here. And he's actually, what we're seeing is interdimensional coexistence. Look at the policeman as he walks. He's got his arms out to try to stop traffic, but he's looking down at the body. He's walking. Now the spirit of the man realizes, because he was trying to communicate to this officer, and now the officer's moved his hand through him. I think that there's a moment where the two suddenly realize this. This man is now still trying to understand, but he's beginning to be aware that he ain't no longer amongst us. So this is an interdimensional coexistence, folks. Now watch this truck here. I can do this in the reverse negative light, and it's fascinating. In fact, let me tell you what. I'm going to stop this, and what we are going to do, let's get it into the negative. All right? So you can see heat signatures, right? Folks, this is good news for all of us. It tells me that it answers many questions, many of the sages of our ancestors, Philo. I could just go through so many of the great philosophers. What is the meaning of life? Is it just this period of time and then that's it? The whole idea of heaven and hell? Come on. We can get into that another time. But folks, this is a spirit. Now watch what happens. You can tell the man is still trying to understand and grasp this. But watch when this truck passes. Look at this, folks. Are you seeing this? His spirit overrides the vehicle. So I'm just going to return this back to the natural light. And now the man is beginning to realize that he is in fact dead. There is an aurora around him. There is a light. In certain lights you can see it. There is a door opening here, or I don't know, a portal, whatever you want to call it. He steps back. His friend is dead over here. He's beginning to now realize that he's dead. Or not dead, because he's still alive. And watch what happens. he actually takes a step back. And the light source is getting brighter around him. And now I think he realizes that what's calling him, and you'll see him in a minute here, he steps back as though there is something beckoning for him to go. Look at this. And folks, this is something we all are going to face. You, myself, each of us. Look at this. And now he's leaving this dimension and going into the next. So my interpretation of this is that this is, although sad to see someone die, no angels, no demons, none of that. Here's a person, and it happened so suddenly that the spirit and the mind, where you want to call that the soul and the body, the trauma was so instantaneously that whether it's all two, all three, there was a moment where the blended realities came in. Yes. Quite amazing, is it not? Quite amazing. And I'll let it play out. Good journey, my friend. So I thought I'd come back and end this on this note. Folks, the reality that you and I are thought we were so grounded into, and how so many of them around us who are asleep, folks, it's not what it really is. Something happened. Something happened here in 2006, and I'm about to show you. So this is from a professor. Steve Olson and I were talking about this earlier, and y'all really need to understand this. This stuff is real. It's really happening. And it gets into it. I'll leave the link below. But my friends, we've been lied to. And I'll have one other video from Jake Riley. But this is in essence what happened, folks. The earth is tilted more. It's still tilting. We know it. It's been documented. I'll leave the links so you can see this for yourself. So we all remember this way back when. Has to be the longest lens flare in history. Yeah. Okay. So now let's fast forward. So this is from Jake. I'll leave a link to his channel. But as you can see, our friend has now begun to show us, I think that we're really seeing more of a side profile. This is very large, folks. Still don't know what this is. If this is Venus, this is not Earth. It's not Mercury. I don't know what that is. But you can clearly see there is a reaction. In fact, let me do something here on this one. So what I've done is that I've taken the flickering and the motion out. But folks, there's something going on down here. You can see the explosions, and they are that. And you can clearly see this is no lens flare. I mean, I wish people would just get their perspectives correct. This is something, and I defy them to tell me what this is. Jake, great work, brother. Just great work. So, folks, I'm going to end it there. Yeah, strange video, but, you know, I look at life, and I don't know if it comes with age, wisdom, I don't know. I know that when you begin to think about your own death, then when you stop in those quiet thoughts, what really is happening? Where have our loved ones before us gone? Is there a life after this? I don't believe in the concept of heaven and hell, but I will tell you this. I do believe that there is a great adventure beyond this one. All right, be good to one another.